Hey, it's Josh.
And Aaron,
We would like your help to grow our channel.
if we can grow to 8,000 subscriptions,
We're going to give you this Indominus box.
the rules are simple. Subscribe to the channel now, and when we reach 8,000 subscribers, we're going to put out a special thank you video. Everybody who comments on that video will be entered to win this Indominus box.
Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button.
Will people follow?
I hope so.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of I Should Be Painting. Remember to like and subscribe, hit that bell button so you never miss an update. We are so close to 8,000 subscribers. With your help, we are going to cross that benchmark very soon. And when we do, you will win the Indominus box set. Today though, we are going to be talking about different ways that you can test your paint schemes before you start painting your armies. Now, one of the worst mistakes that you can make is sitting down without knowing exactly what you want to do and just start painting your miniatures, getting to a point where you don't like it, and then finding out that a bunch of your miniatures are ruined or that you have to start over, and then you lose motivation and you don't want to move forward. So there are a bunch of different ways in order to help decide exactly how you're going to paint your miniatures before you start painting. The most tried and true methodology is to have extra miniatures on hand. Now, the best way to do that is to have extra of the miniatures you are going to paint. So for example, if you're painting Space Marines, have 5 or 6 Space Marines, maybe even a Space Marine captain, a lieutenant, some sort of individual character that you can test your paint scheme out on before you go through and paint the hundreds of miniatures that's going to be your army. Of course, you can also test paint on miniatures that aren't specifically related to your army. And for those of you who are like me, who have an unnecessary number of new in-box or on-sprue miniatures, there are plenty of things that you can test your paint scheme out. The next thing you can do to test your paint scheme is to not actually paint anything at all. You can go online and look at other people's paint schemes and watch tutorials and look at pictures and find inspiration and figure out exactly the paint scheme that you want to make, and then follow somebody else's step-by-step guide, hopefully giving you exactly what you want without having to have tested several dozens, hundreds, billions of your own miniatures. And the last way that you can go ahead and test paint things without actually painting them is by using applications. Now, many of you may be familiar with these applications. I just learned about these applications and it totally blew my mind. There's a whole host of phone and computer applications that let you test paint schemes on actual models. Now, Games Workshop themselves has their own app, and it is called the Citadel Paint app, and I'm not sure how I missed that, but there are more than just the Game Workshop ones. In fact, there's a whole list of them. And the 4 that I know right off the top of my head are Impact, Citadel Paint, the app, PaintPad, and Brush Age. Now, on a future video, myself and the rest of the CGN crew, including Big Aaron, Josh, and Sean, we are each going to do an in-depth review on these painting programs along with any other painting programs that we happen to find. But the big 4 that we know about, or that I just learned about right now, are Impact, Citadel Paint the app, PaintPad, and Brush Age. So remember, before you get started on your painting project, one of the best things that you can do is test your paint scheme. You can test your paint scheme by actually painting models. You can test your paint scheme by picking other people's paint schemes and learning how they did those paint schemes. Or you can test your paint scheme in the digital space by painting on models in the virtual world. With that all being said, let's head on over to the computer and we are going to take a look at the 3 projects that were most inspiring to me this week. I'm very excited for these projects. I think I say that every time. I'm always excited. I don't pick things that I'm not excited about. Let's head on over to the computer and take a look at the projects. Here we are at the computer and we're going to take a look, of course, at the 3 projects that inspire me this week. For some reason, none of my cameras want to focus on my face just right this week. I don't know why, it's just a thing that's happening, but okay, life. The first project that we are looking at is from Epic Duck Studios. Now, Epic Duck Studios and I have a history. We go back a long way, and they have been one of the leaders in teaching people how to paint miniatures and doing custom miniature painting projects for a very, very long time. I ran across one of his newer videos, which is Marvel Crisis Protocol Traffic Light comic book style, and I thought that this video was fantastic. And it's fantastic for two very important reasons. One, it's a very accessible, easy to follow, fun video that teaches you, most importantly, and here's part two, a new style of painting. So not all painting comes from the grim, dark world of Warhammer 40k. There is a lot of different ways to paint your miniatures in a lot of different styles. And comic book style is a really fun one that you can learn how to do. And doing it on the Marvel Crisis Protocol Traffic Light has been a great tool for me to learn how to paint comic book style. So if you're not familiar with comic book style, you should definitely check out this video. By the way, there are some Warhammer 40k models painted to comic book style. There is a Eldar vehicle that's painted in a Borderlands theme, but that Borderlands theme is really just comic book style with Borderlands embellishments. So this is, again, a fantastic way to learn to paint a new style, and that style is comic book style. Next, we are moving over to William, and William asked me to give a shout out to his favorite podcast, that is the House Party Protocol podcast. Now, technically, Will did not tell me that this was his personal favorite podcast. I suppose This American Life could be his favorite podcast, but I assume it is his favorite Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast. And so here you go, a shout out for House Party Protocol podcast. So if you are into Marvel Crisis Protocol and you're looking for a podcast, check out House Party Protocol, courtesy of Will. Will's project that I actually picked is this amazing custom Ant-Man for, once again, the game Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now, when you buy Ant-Man from the makers of Marvel Crisis Protocol, you get two models. You get a Ant-Man that is small and an Ant-Man that is large, and both of these models correspond to the abilities in the game, and of course are flavorful with the character himself, who gets big and small. But Will took it one step further, and he custom made these amazing miniatures where you actually get a sense of feeling, a sense of motion of Ant-Man going from small to big or from big to small. He also did another one that plays with scale, where he put Ant-Man on a bullet, making you get that forced perspective, realizing that you're looking at something that is actually small, as opposed to just something that is a miniature, which is normally just small. I hope that made sense. Here is his version of Ant-Man going from large to small. These are great. They're whimsical. They're fun. They have a lot of energy. They have a lot of movement. As you know, I really like it when miniatures are able to convey a sense of movement. And these do this absolutely fantastically. In fact, if you want to send me a couple, I'd be happy to buy them from you, because these are pretty sweet. Next, we are moving over to Brian, and Brian has made a diorama, and this diorama caught my attention immediately when I was scrolling past it on the Facebooks. And what's so great about this diorama is that it captures three things that are very important in dioramas. One, it is a visually striking diorama that utilizes a lot of different materials in order to convey a beautiful scene. It took me a minute to realize that I think some of these leaves up here are packing material, but the way that the trees are made, the way that the base is made, the way that the flock is laid down, the static grass, like, it all works together really well to create that beautiful jungle scene. On top of that, the miniature itself, this knight, is very, very well painted. So if it was just this jungle scene and the knight, it would still be an amazing diorama. But no, he took it one step further, and he has an actual story that's going on, and that is what is the most important part of any diorama. A diorama should be telling a story. It should be a snapshot of a scene. You should be able to build in a narrative and characters and understand what is going on and find all these little details that just bring this moment to life. And he has absolutely done that here with the guy popping out of the top, as well as the little dude hanging out down here. And when we look at it from the side, we can see that it has been trapped, it's been tricked, it's being tripped, and taken down by just some ferocious Catachan warriors hanging out in their jungle waiting for just the wrong knight to walk by. So this is a great example of a diorama that hits all of those main categories. One, fantastic use of material in order to create a realistic piece, a beautifully painted centerpiece that is the knight, and a fun story that is being told that utilizes the full 360-degree view of the diorama. So I think this is just an amazing project. Hey, I'm not talking about you anymore, Ant-Man. I am talking about this diorama that I like so much. Well, those are the 3 projects for this week. If you want to be featured, guaranteed featured on this channel, go ahead and join our Patreon. We will always feature Patreons. You can send us your work, and then we will stick up the work in I Should Be Painting. If you have other projects that you would like me to take a look at for consideration of a future episode, you can either send them to our Facebook, which is coolguyswhositathome.com, or to our email, which is coolguysnation.com. Yeah, I know. I changed the name of the channel. Sorry, I did that. It was a long time ago. I hope you enjoyed this week. We talked about different ways of helping you to understand your paint scheme, testing your paint scheme out either on models or virtually on a device. And we also took a look at the 3 most inspiring projects for me this week. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a like, give me a comment, hit that bell button, and as always, we'll see you on the table.